Joining me now is Ohio Senator J.D. Vance. Senator, there's an impulse among some in the Senate, Republicans usually, to say, go get them, level them, take them out, massive strikes now. And I get that because you want to smash anyone who harms a single American. But what are we really facing here?
Well, Laura, we have to remember there's a big difference between hitting them back and hitting them back so aggressively that we invite an escalation here that could lead to a war that we're simply not prepared for as a country. The fundamental fact, Laura, these guys have got to wake up to is that America, thanks to the decisions that have been made over 20, 30 years, but especially during the Biden administration, is that we are weaker now than we have ever been. You do not lumber into a massive conflict or 2 or 3 conflicts simultaneously when you're at your low point. What you do, Laura, is you smartly rebuild, you elect a new president to replace the disaster that we have in the White House, and then you project American power from there. These guys have got to remember, we do not have Donald Trump in the Oval Office. We have Joe Biden in the Oval Office, and that means that we have to be cautious about how we respond to this moment.
There was a Pentagon briefing today, if that's what you can call it, and a reporter actually asked an important question about the Secretary of Defense. Watch.
Is there any update on whether Secretary Austin will come and talk to us sometime soon?
I don't have a date to announce. Certainly aware of the request, and we'll keep you updated.
No wonder they didn't miss him when he was gone for a week. I mean, this is unbelievable. Just that fact that Austin cannot stand and answer questions after we have 3 Americans dead, 40 wounded, and apparently some of them severely wounded. That says it all. And Republicans are like, oh, go get him, Joe. What? They can't even answer a question.
Yeah. Oh, Laura, it's so absurd. And what is the Secretary of Defense doing? Is he able to actually discharge his duties? These are some of the most important questions that we should be asking, Laura. But there is so much going on here. How did we possibly have 3 Americans, potentially many, many more, who are at risk on the Jordan-Syria border? What were they doing there? Is it actually necessary to have them there, or are they sitting ducks inviting people or countries like Iran to come and attack our people? There are just so many important questions that we're not even asking. And Laura,
well, that's
look,
what the Senate's supposed to find out, right? I mean, you guys are there as in an oversight role. Like, I would expect the Senate would want to know, what are these bases for? Are they really necessary? Are they advancing America's interests? If so, how? How much is it costing? Can we afford it? And how many more Americans are going to have to die before we all agree that Biden and his team are a bunch of incompetents?
Yeah, Laura, and there are about 10 of us that are asking those questions, and everybody else is, I think, they're living in the past fundamentally, Laura. They're living in a world where America still had the world's most powerful manufacturing economy. They're living in a world where we didn't empower the rise of communist China, and they're living in a world where we have a strong president when, in fact, we have the weakest president in an American generation sitting in the Oval Office. These guys have got to wake up, Laura. We've got to rebuild our country. We've got to go back to some common sense first principles. Instead, what these guys are doing is pretending they're living in a world that just doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, there's a reason it's called peace through strength. It's not peace through weakness, economic weakness. You have to be strong at home or you're not going to be able to do much abroad. By the way, at the Pentagon yesterday, the Deputy Press Secretary, Sabrina Singh, was asked another key question.
Are you willing to say that the conflict is no longer contained and it's spreading?
I wouldn't say that the conflict is spreading in that we've seen over 100 attacks on U.S. forces. This attack was certainly escalatory in that it killed 3 service members.
It's not spreading when troops literally have died in another country.
We can't discount the fact that these attacks are incredibly dangerous, put our service members at risk, but they have not, up until yesterday, inflicted lethal harm.
I mean, Senator, I don't even know what to say about that performance yesterday, but this is Mickey Mouse Club.
Laura, of course the conflict is spreading, and these people are completely asleep at the wheel. You know what we haven't talked about, Laura? The fact that we face a massive recruitment challenge because America's military leadership is going to war with the American population culturally. We've got a lot of crises, Laura. It's time to rebuild. It's time to get a new president.
Yeah, that's the only way it's going to happen. Senator, thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.